Hey, everybody, and welcome. Today, we are going to talk about the Creative Writing Awards for young people. So, this session is for the teachers so that you understand the importance of these awards that are hosted every year, currently in their 34th year with the PEI Writers Guild. So without further ado, I am going to throw it over to Christine Gordon-Manley, who is the president of the PEI Writers Guild, to talk to you a little bit about the awards.
Thanks, Christian. So Christian is our ILA coordinator, and I'm here to talk to all of you teachers out there. This is, as Christian said, our 34th year for the Island Literary Awards. And part of those awards, we have awards for adults, but we also have a specific award category for youth. And we want your help. We want more youth applying for these awards. The categories are the early elementary, late elementary, junior high, and senior high. So any student from K to 12 can submit to these awards, and we have prizes for first, second, and third place, and they're cash prizes that usually gets the students a little bit more motivated to apply. We did very well for submissions in 2018, and unfortunately, submissions have gone down since then. And so we're really looking to rally and encourage students to submit. The Writers Guild exists to promote an inclusive environment for all writers on PEI, and that includes the youth as well. So we're really hoping that teachers can help us encourage students. There'll be a gala celebration awards ceremony in May. We're not sure yet if that'll be in person or online, but there will be a celebration event for students. So we have with us here one teacher who has been a huge support of the awards for over a decade. Let's pass it over to Allison so she can speak to that.
My name is Allison Giggy, and I'm the teacher librarian at Queen Charlotte Intermediate School. So we're 7, 8, 9. And I have been getting my students to enter the ILAs for a number of years now. Actually, I've been doing it since I was a student teacher. It was the first year that I started. And the reason that I started was because I remember as a student, as a child, writing and submitting my poems and stories and whatever to the Island Literary Awards way back when, and just remembered how happy it made me and how much I loved seeing. They used to publish an anthology, which I still have kicking around here somewhere. So when I started teaching, I would get my students as part of their narrative writing unit to do a piece of writing, and we would go through the entire writing process, the revising and the editing and all those things that we have to do because they're linked to curriculum. And the extra layer for the awards that I love so much is we're so hampered by what we have to teach and what we have to assess that I always found I didn't get to assess the beauty in the kids' writing a lot of the time. Like I could comment on it, but it wasn't a curriculum outcome. So it didn't factor into whatever mark I had to put on the top of the paper. The ILAs were always so much fun to watch. It was always so much fun to watch the students get a prize for this piece of writing that maybe it didn't fulfill all the requirements. Like maybe they were supposed to show me that they learned how to properly punctuate this type of sentence and that they learned how to represent different things. But then they would win this prize telling them that your writing is really good and it's beautiful and it did this, it moved to the judges. And sometimes it was kids who expected to win, which was nice. And my favorite thing is when a prize would go to a kid who does not consider themselves to be a writer. And it happens almost every year. It'll be just, they would be shocked. And I don't know always whether that continues on in their life, whether they keep writing, but it was so much fun to see these kids think about, maybe I'm a writer. Maybe that's another part of my identity that I never recognized before. And that's why I kept doing it year after year after year, was just to encourage all the kids to do their best work and just look for the beauty in their writing.
And not only are there cash prizes like Christine mentioned, but there's also a prize. There's a school participation award. So rally your students together, get your students to submit for the ILAs. It's super, super, super simple. So I'm just going to share my screen with all you lovely folks today, just to show you how simple it is. So I just went on www www.peywritersguild.com. You're going to land on the homepage, and on the very top, you're going to see a button, ILAs. It says ILA guidelines. You just got to click on there, and it's going to bring you to a page that describes all of the categories. So, like Christine mentioned earlier, there are awards for adults. So, at the very top, those are all the descriptions. So, Allison, you did say that you used to write poetry and short stories as youth. You could always submit to an adult category now.
Ooh.
Um, Going through, you're going to see Rotary Club of Charlottetown Royalty Creative Writing Awards for young people. So here it is, teachers. This is the section for you. Like Christine said, she talked about the different categories: early elementary, late elementary, junior high, senior high. Big important factor is there is no entry fee for students to participate. No entry fee to participate, and they get to take home cash prizes. So something to keep in mind. We do suggest that you read all the eligibility criteria. So you're going to see there it is. It's right there. A couple of little points. General rules. One big rule to keep in mind is that the deadline is February 26, 2021 at 9 p.m. to have the submissions in. Then you're going to see the formatting notes. Just give these 6 notes a read just to make sure that the work is reflecting the formatting notes. And then super simple. You're going to see this button here. It says click here to submit. You're going to click there. It's going to bring you to the PEI Writers Guild submission forms on Submittable. So if you do not, or if the youth does not have a Submittables account, they'll need to create that. It just takes a couple seconds. And then you will click on submit here for Creative Writing Awards for young people. Once you click on that, it's super simple. You're going to see again, it's going to go through the submission guidelines, talk to you about the school participation award, highlighting again the eligibility criteria and the general rules, the formatting notes. And here it is, folks. It's super simple. All we need is the title of the entry. We need the student's name and the school name. We need the parent's email address. Then you select which one best suits the student, and then you just choose your file and you upload the submission. So on the submission, super important to note, we do ask that there is no identifying information. So essentially, not having the student's name on the piece of work that's being submitted. Just have the student's name, like we said right here, just because we do want it to be anonymous, because the awards are judged by jurors, and it is all anonymous. So nobody will know who wrote what piece of work. So again, folks, that's how simple it is to submit to the ILAs. So I am now going to throw it over to Christine or Allison again, if you guys have any last minute things that you'd like to add, or little tidbits of information that maybe you thought of while we were going through that folks should be aware of.
I just want to encourage everybody and every student to submit. We're really excited. We have 8 submissions already. This is the first year that they've gotten such early submissions in, but you do have to the end of February, so there's lots of time. But like Allison said, these awards celebrate students who are already consider themselves writers, but then they get that other group of people who've never thought about that before, and just the boost and the encouragement, and it really is magical. So we just want more youth to submit.
And I can say from the teacher's perspective, 2 things that really concern kids that I get a lot of questions about. One is, are they going to know it was me? And just to reiterate that it is anonymous. And so we were joking. I tell the story often. One year I got to be a judge for the ILAs, and it was so much fun. I didn't have any student. I don't think I was teaching that year. And the winning entry happened to be somebody that I knew, because it is PEI and that could happen, but it was anonymous. So it wasn't favoritism. It was, the kids think it's great, and they feel more comfortable sometimes submitting something without their name attached to it. They feel like a little more protected, I think. So that's a nice thing to note. And the other thing I was going to say was, it doesn't have to necessarily be fiction. Some of the best writing I've seen is narrative nonfiction. And we've had a couple of kids over the last few years doing personal narratives, or even persuasive writing with a little bit of humor and all those things. So I know that in the past, my students thought they had to make up a story and it had to be completely fiction. And it's sometimes hard to break them out of that box. But I mean, we all know in the curriculum, there's different types of writing, and good writing is good writing. So it doesn't have to be, a completely fantastic made up story. It can be an interesting, really well-written piece of narrative nonfiction too.
And that's the beauty of the creative awards for young people, is that they can write on the topic of choice. If they want to write poetry, creative nonfiction, et cetera, it's really up to that student, to that youth, to decide on what they want to write about. This is being posted to Facebook, so we're hoping to reach a whole whack of people. So parents, if you're watching this, it's not only for teachers. If you have a kid that loves to write and that want to submit, please, 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 get them to submit. We would love to have their work submitted. So on that note, thank you so much, Christine. Thank you so much, Allison. And we look forward to getting all your submissions.